We'll do it live. And welcome back to the Blame Girl podcast with
Mr. Terry Wing.
And we got John Levine in the house. Welcome, John. Thank you
What's
for joining
up?
us again. This is your second appearance, ain't it?
This is my number
I
two
thought it's
time.
third.
No,
No?
I don't think he's been on here 3 times.
no, I think this is my second. I think it's second.
All right. I thought we had John again after Loki.
Well,
Oh, I think he might be right. I think we
Yeah.
have.
but you had me
Yeah.
before that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the first time
for
you were
the,
still doing comedy in Atlanta.
No, the first time he was doing the Cobra Cry.
Oh, yeah. So
Mhm.
basically what you're saying is I got to book a big show to be on your show. Is what it is. It's like I got to do something cool. And then you guys invite me.
No,
Terry was
it gives us
responsible for
something to talk
booking.
about.
Terry was responsible for booking, so it won't be like that anymore, John. You better.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah, she
You're
doesn't
doing-
book white people, so you're fine.
That's why Terry booked you. So
Mhm.
it's a rule of the show. No, I'm just kidding. A rule of the show. No, but how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Did you do any acting, performing, otherwise?
Didn't do any acting before. Actually, I had some friends in from Nashville that came in for the weekend. So
Terry?
Yes, I'm
no,
still
not
here.
Terry.
Oh no, not Terry. Okay.
No, yeah, some friends in from Nashville. So we went to the Braves game, did a bunch of dinners, got hotel rooms, and all hung out, and just drank a whole bunch of booze and had a really good time. So it was a good weekend. It was good. And then I had a report for jury duty first thing this morning at 8 a.m.
Did you get selected?
I did, and it's a 3-day trial.
What kind? No, what kind?
Civil. It's actually, I'll be honest with you, kind of interesting. I know I can't really give the details of it, but there's an 81-year-old man who's now dead, or he was 81 years old, and his wife died and met a young 30-something-year-old neighbor, and she moved in with her 4 kids, and the next thing you know, all of his money's gone. So
that's how it goes. Usually.
Well, so it's spicy. This thing's spicy.
They'd be like, well, I'll just take her in until I die, and then she can have all my money. But then he has kids that may want his money.
Well,
too.
and that's what it is. Like, so the daughter is like, you took all my dad's money. And then there's just like, no, this is the way your dad wanted it. He didn't like you. And, so it's,
That's rough.
Right. Yeah. It's good. I mean, I haven't heard both sides yet, just the opening arguments, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
All right. So, Terry, how was your weekend?
Pretty uneventful. Finally got my couch, my new couch at least.
Mm-hmm.
Got the house put.
What color futon did you get?
No, I'm a big boy.
I
buy big boy things now. No, but no.
Was it a king bed? Oh no, it was a couch. Okay.
No, I have a California king, but no, but that was nice. It was nice to have. It was like the last piece of the puzzle on having this new place. And then I worked on a couple new recipes. So,
what recipes? I want to know.
I made a meat sauce with some fresh homemade pasta. But my meat sauce, I changed it up.
What is the meat sauce? Are you saying meat sauce? Is that bolognese? Or
no, this is like a classic red gravy, like a
ragu.
Yes, like a classic ragu, but instead of using, the traditional meats that I would have normally used, I decided to put a southern thing on it and use some andouille sausage instead.
Ooh, nice.
And it turned out very well. I'm very satisfied with it.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like the Italian country twist. It reminds me of.
It's called fusion.
Ugh. There's a restaurant. It's like a country restaurant, and then they serve a fettuccine pasta, but it's just white gravy. Oof.
Like sausage gravy, like you get on a biscuit?
Yeah.
Ew. That does sound gross.
I give that a try. It might be a little heavy, but I give it a try.
That's too
well,
white.
there's an Italian dish that's cacio di pepe, which is not far off.
Not far off. Yeah, I love cacio.
What you're talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always dreamed of opening a sushi bar / Jewish deli and calling it Tokyo Schwartz. Well, think about it. You got like lox, and you got.
I was going to say you got the lox.
It's like there's a lot of similar, sesame seeds, You got like, all that kind of stuff. Very kind of similar type stuff.
Yeah.
Cream cheese. You get a JB roll. It's got cream cheese in it. You got
I guess you
cream
could
cheese
use
and
that
lox.
kind of stuff. That's
Mm. You could have a pickled herring roll.
Why not? I mean, listen, why not? A pastrami.
I could think of a number of reasons why
That's what
not.
Oh, come on. How dare you? A
Pickled herring.
pastrami roll? I'd eat that in a heartbeat.
So this weekend I did I performed at the doghouse, kind of impromptu. And then on Saturday I did a boudoir shoot.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got
Will
some
we be
professional
sharing
photos for
these
my
images?
OnlyFans. Yeah.
Okay, it's your OnlyFans.
My OnlyFans, yeah. But I saw them and I was like, who is that? Like,
Nice.
But you had like a professional do it, right?
mhm. Yeah, Abby Ballin, she shot me.
Oh, there you go. I've seen her stuff on the Facebooks. She posts a lot of that stuff
Yeah.
from the comedy shows and things like that. That's cool. That's
She's
cool.
gonna do my headshots on Thursday, but we wanted a little bit more time for that. So because the headshots take an hour, but you got to do outfit changes.
Not that I'm interested, but for everyone listening, what would the link to the OnlyFans be? Or just share it somewhere. Not for me, of course. Not
for anyone that's listening that may want to go to my OnlyFans, you can find me at BlameGirl XXX. And if you want to get to it,
that's 3 X's. You said 3 XXX.
You can go to my Instagram and go to my link tree. It's on there. So
link in bio.
The link tree. But I've taken because I like worked my way up to like I showed my vagina, okay? And yeah, I took it down though. I didn't take it down. I hid it because Abby was like, I almost punched you in the face when you told me how much you charged for that. And I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought
I've heard what your pricing was, what you thought your pricing should be. Yeah, you
think it's not good? You think it should be higher?
I mean, it depends on what you're selling, but
I mean,
you mentioned something like
$25,
$25, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Really? That's so nice. Okay.
No, I mean that's crazy high.
Oh no, she thinks that's too low.
Oh,
You think that's too high? I mean, people pay for that shit.
I guess, but
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've seen a vagina, and sometimes it doesn't even cost me $25. I'm just saying,
Yeah, I thought.
Well, I'm just saying.
I thought 25 was high, but
it is high.
You're crazy.
I mean, how much is 2 shots of well tequila? How much is 2 shots of well tequila? I mean, it's you're talking like $16, right? So there you go.
Yeah. But
the only reason I said that is because of the competition. There's so many girls
there are
and
vaginas
women
on there, right? That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
I mean,
lots of them. The market's flooded.
Listen, she's gonna help me try to like really actually make a little bit of money on it and stuff. So, I mean, you got to put content out, and I shot content, I shot video, I shot all kind of stuff. So it's gonna be fun coming up. And then I've talked to Mac about maybe doing a like collaboration. Mac Lawson, she was on our podcast a couple of weeks ago. So not like anything crazy. She doesn't do any nudity.
Again, just for your fans, I would alert everyone when that comes out. Just when that happens. Just for the fans listening. I'm not familiar with this OnlyFans. Is that what it's called? It's OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's a new site that got popular during the pandemic. But,
the pandemic. I forgot about the pandemic.
Yeah, Lonely Fans.
All right.
I know. Okay, well, let's get to it. Y'all ready?
Well, good. I say good luck to you, because it's a lot of competition out there. Personally, I don't get any of it. I'm like, porn is free. Like, why would anybody pay anything?
How I think, but I mean, she has a point. It's like specifically my vagina. So
yeah,
it's true, and I would argue that it's like hotter when you know the person.
Yeah.
Well, it's a curiosity thing, I think.
Well, sure, but I think it's 20 years ago, if I wanted to see my friend's vagina, I mean, I'd have to stand outside their window at night. Now, $25, boom, it's right there.
I just ask that you don't tell me if you look at it. Just look at it, pay me, and keep it.
What am I going to leave you at, like a Yelp review? Like,
yeah. Don't comment.
I would.
Don't message me. Don't tell me in person.
I would have given her 5 stars, but
But anyway, all right, let's get to the blaming. Are y'all ready, guys?
I've been ready.
You don't look ready. You're not even looking at the camera.
It's because I'm done talking about your pussy. That's why.
All right. Well, stop.
Fair.
All right, there are aliens in Vegas. Who's to blame?
The idiots that believe that? I don't think that's true. I mean, do you think it's like I watched that video? Did you see that video of that thing in the backyard? No? Nobody?
Yes.
I mean, I did.
Sorry,
I'm waiting on
I
her.
heard
Yeah.
something.
She-
Okay, let me just,
But-
in my defense, I heard something behind me. And
It was the aliens. They
was the
come to shut us down.
I don't
That's
know.
what
That's
I'm
what I
talking
was
about.
like, no, Dylan chased a snake in last week. So I
Oh.
just a little
Snakes
afraid.
are real.
I'm jumping
Snakes are
right now.
definitely real.
Dylan's your boyfriend?
Yeah, my dog, my cat.
Oh.
Mm.
I don't know. When I saw that video and it's some dude in a costume. You know what I mean? Like this thing, this
You think it was somebody in a costume? I
this
couldn't really
whole thing
see.
reeks of hoax to me.
It's another Bigfoot scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that video of the Bigfoot walking away, all slow and looking back, and it was just some dude in a monkey suit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean,
he's
like
wearing but he's wearing a watch. So,
what in the Bigfoot thing?
yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't
they,
notice
po-
that.
yeah, they pointed it out in close-ups. They're like, put a watch on.
So if you guys didn't see it, there was a Latino family that they were out in their garage or something. They saw something fall and crash in their backyard, which it seemed believable because even a law enforcement officer came to check it out because there was another law enforcement officer who caught the object falling from the sky on video. And then these people all of a sudden are like, this thing. And then the thing about it is, for me, why do people who always think they see them, it's the same thing?
Like what do you mean? Like they all look the same kind of? They all the same?
It's all these tall creatures with these big eyes,
Well, I think that the chance that aliens exist is equal to the chance that they don't. However, when it comes to these types of scenarios, if you're an interstellar being or interdimensional being or whatever it is, and your technology's advanced so much that you can travel those kinds of distances to come here, I'm pretty sure you could evade an idiot with an iPhone. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure you're not getting caught by somebody in the trailer park who's like, look at that,
Well,
Right.
maybe that's the thing.
And especially since this was a Hispanic family, I would have imagined they would have said chupacabra instead, but
maybe that's the thing. Maybe they know how, like, the extraterrestrials know how to block any of our devices from recording them.
Yeah, but
I would
here's the thing.
imagine it's
They said
possible.
like their ship crashed. You know what I mean? So like this being traveled from millions of light years away to get here, and then
And
ran out
lost.
of gas. All of a sudden, when it was over Las Vegas, you know what I mean?
They got blinded by the
Well, no,
lights on
I
the
think
strip.
because they were over America, someone shot it down.
Now,
Yeah.
do I think more of it was like a weather balloon that somebody shot at and it fell out of the sky? Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
that
okay.
sounds plausible.
No, did you not see the video of it falling? That was no weather balloon.
Again,
Okay.
Y'all are just
I get it.
skeptical.
listen, and I believe that aliens exist. I do. Like, I can't imagine that our universe is so vast that there's not other intelligent life out there. And maybe they have visited us. I'm not saying that they haven't. I don't know that. But I'm like really skeptical of like, oh, you were the one people that saw them. Nobody else did. You know what I mean?
No, I don't
I
think
mean,
that.
why would they want to? Why would they want to visit us? Seriously. Why?
Well, because they're probing our weaknesses to take over. Or they're like, hey, can we plant our crops here once we wipe this land clean? Sure.
Maybe they've damaged their planet like we're doing to this one, and then they see it
right.
and they're like, "Nah, it's no go here," because
Well, then you're
because
not
when-
going to need proof.
When Columbus came to the New World, it was so good for all the people that already lived here. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
no. I understand that point, but no, it's kind of like Neil deGrasse Tyson said about this. He said, if they've advanced so much that they can leave their planet, they would have advanced so much to fix their planet
To
already.
fix it.
It would have been much easier to fix their planet than if they come here, they're explorers. And
But right, I was going to say, just like us,
Yeah.
we're explorers. I mean, it's very possible.
feel bad for them if they're stuck, because like
See, now I want to watch ET.
what'd you say?
Now I want to watch ET. Like now I have a desire to watch ET.
So I
So-
see y'all don't believe in the aliens, but do y'all believe in Jesus?
Is that another?
What'd you say?
I don't think John does. I don't think John Levine does.
No. John
He
Levine
doesn't even believe in most.
John Levine doesn't even
Okay,
believe
let me ask you
in the
this.
gods that he's supposed to believe.
Jesus, aliens, which one is more?
So this is Jesus
Mhm.
and this is aliens, right?
Okay.
Can you see Jesus?
Okay.
Can
Fair
you,
enough.
hold on,
But
hold
what
on.
it-
There we go. Okay.
But what if Jesus was an alien? Oh,
That's more believable.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he came back from the dead. All
Mm.
right. Well, regardless, the Bible is getting banned in Utah schools, guys. That's wild. That's
Thank
like
God. Oh, wait.
that's
Well, it's
like
just-
ancient aliens being banned amongst alien conspiracy theories.
let's be clear. It's only in Davis County, but it is true that elementary school and middle schools now do not allow the Bible in their libraries or their classrooms.
Why?
Okay, but we have to say why though.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to
Okay.
tell you why. It's because some people wanted certain books banned because they contained graphic sexuality, gender identity
Violence.
stuff, violence, all those things. And then one of the parents came to the school board and said, well, you got this book in here and it's filled with violence and sex and, people getting their heads cut off and affairs. And I mean, but this is what we were talking about before when we were talking about the Florida book bans. This is the slippery slope that you have started. Once you start telling people what they can and cannot read and telling kids what they're allowed to think and what they're not, that's always going to get turned around and used against you. Always. This is a free country.
Yeah, like if you're
today.
For the time being.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like Terry says, it's a slippery slope, and I don't think the Bible should have been in the schools in the first place, unless all of the religious texts are there, because if for learning, it's not just like, oh, Bibles for all the kids or anything like that.
I think it was in the library, which I don't have a problem with.
It was in the library.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with it, but bring back these other books that you're getting out of there, like To Kill a Mockingbird, or,
Sure.
Well, I've been saying this since the beginning. It is 2023. If your kid is reading anything, you should be encouraging it. I don't care what it is.
Good point.
Okay. If it's anything short of Mein Kampf, go ahead. Let them read it. Encourage
Which, to
that.
be honest, wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Did you really?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
He's
No,
kidding.
sorry.
He's Jewish.
I know
Anyway.
that. I got
mean,
that. That doesn't
it
mean
wasn't even really a surprise. Like I thought the ending was going to be a big surprise. I wasn't
that
surprised.
doesn't mean like, I'm sure there's Jewish people that have read it just to fucking read it,
Yeah, well, you got to know thy enemy. But
like there's black people that will watch Birth of a Nation,
I have it on Laserdisc. But
it was passed down through your family, right?
Right.
yeah, Laserdisc. Yeah, it came through the generations.
He has it on Victrola.
If you read the article, the one that I find the most surprising is that they say the next one up on the chopping block is the Book of Mormon. And when you ban the Book of Mormon in Utah, you done something now. Because
the
Book of Mormon has sex and violence in it too. So,
it's violent and sexual.
well, I mean, it's lifted directly from the Bible, so you know it's got to have some. So,
Which is lifted directly from the Torah. So, whatever.
Well, the first part.
I mean,
Yeah.
just like Jaws 2.
The most violent part, let's just be honest, was the Old Testament, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you got
Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, come
Sounds
on.
like we can't have the
that was a
Torah up
bloodbath.
in the schools either, along with the Book of Mormon.
How about we just have like none of that stuff in schools? Like science textbooks in schools. I don't know. Call me
They
crazy.
They don't want them to know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's, there's education, and there's faith, and then there's government, and I think they should all be kept apart.
But see, when you put the faith onto the schools, you'll have good, obedient little workers when they get to working age. And
Oh, they're going to do that anyway.
I was about to say,
Our financial overlords will make sure of it. So.
yeah. Well, not if they get smart and rise up and read some good books about how, oppressed they were.
I don't know. These book bans are fairly new, so we've been reading those books for the last 50 years, 60 years, and ain't nobody rising up. So,
Yeah.
Like I said, if they're reading anything, just encourage them.
Yeah.
If anything that gets them off the phone for an hour, it's fine. Fine by me.
The best read lately is how all of Trump's lawyers quit. I would love if you read that.
More specifically, the classified
Who's the blame
documents
guy?
case.
What did you say?
Yeah.
I said more specifically, it's the classified document case, and those lawyers have now quit.
The aptly named Trustee, which was the guy's last name, right? Trustee.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Let me just say this, Terry, write your blames better, because if you keep correcting me every time I read what you wrote, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
You got to write your blames better so that I can read it how it should be, right? Because every time I read one of the blames you wrote, we're getting used to our new jobs, okay? Every time I read one of your blames, you're like, to be more clear, this.
Well, it's just part of the conversation. It's fine. It doesn't need to be perfect.
Is the fan base aware of this whole job shift? Do they know about this?
No, but let's keep it loose.
They know it now. Okay,
right.
But yes. Trump's lawyers, the lawyers that were representing him, to be more specific, for the leaked documents case, they all quit. Who's to blame?
I think we all know who's to blame. No good lawyer on the top of their field wants to represent what they know is a losing case. Those records
Well,
they have.
Do y'all think
they do for a lot of money, but they also know that guy doesn't pay his bills. So it's like that's where it is. Like, they'll take a losing case if they get paid a lot of money, but he's not good at paying his bills. So what are you getting there?
Still owes me $17,000.
And they know they won't get paid. So it's like,
right.
I'm not taking that.
Why do it?
For notoriety.
Yeah, but I would say it's for infamy. I mean, no one's going to be like, "Oh, that guy was the guy that represented Trump. Let me hire him as a lawyer."
Trump has a market. Trump has a big market of people who still love him and support him.
He's got 30% of the Republican Party, which is 30% of a smaller percent of a smaller percent. It's not, it's vocal. I don't think it's it's not as big as it used to be. Certainly, there's no doubt about that.
Just because you're the loudest voice doesn't mean you have the biggest numbers.
He certainly has a stranglehold on the Republican Party. There's no doubt about that. Not debating that. But the Republican Party has been shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. So it's a smaller part of the general electorate. So
there's a reason why they've lost the last 3 elections.
Yeah, and I just heard the other day that for presidential elections, Democrats have won the popular vote in 8 of the 9 last presidential elections, which is
since Reagan,
right? Which is the biggest record ever. Like, it's the longest streak ever, and they've only held the office twice.
Well, the only one was Bush's second term after 9/11, when everybody was all patriotic and whatnot.
Right.
That was the only one that ever won the popular vote in my voting lifetime.
Right. So it's been 6 Republicans to 3 Democrats, except they've won the popular vote 8 of the last 9 times.
Why do you think they fight so hard against the about abolishing the electoral college?
Of course,
because they know if they'll
be abolished.
They'll never be. They're literally fighting to keep their party.
That would be
Yeah.
against their own interests. All right.
Mhm.
But with regards to Trump, there were just two lawyers who represented him in the months before he was indicted. They just quit working for him. Jim Trusty and John Riley did not explain in detail why they resigned, other than to say this is a logical moment.
Yeah.
I think the logic is like you guys say, like they ain't gonna get paid. He guilty.
Right. Exactly. I mean, yeah, this is he's I don't want to say he's toast because this guy's really good at slipping out of different, every time you think you got him nailed to the wall, he squirms out of it. But I mean, 39 indictments or 37 indictments, whatever it is. And they've got him on tape going, yeah, I shouldn't be showing you this because it's totally top secret and I can't declassify it. But here you go. I mean,
And
They-
it's totally on brand for this nigga right here, Trump. He showed us who he was before he went in. We knew he was going to be
Of course.
careless with all our shit. And what did he do? He was careless with all our shit, and he knew he was wrong for it because he said it on these audio recordings.
well, I
He's
don't
the-
know if you've seen that they've connected like the timeline of what's in the indictment with
Mhm.
Kid Rock's article that came out in like, I think it was Rolling Stone or Variety or something. He was interviewed and Kid Rock was like, yeah, I'm in the Oval Office and I'm with Trump in Mar-a-Lago, and he's showing me all these maps and he's like, yeah, this is like totally top secret stuff. And he's like, I don't know if I should be looking at this stuff. He's like, I don't know anything about North Korea. And meanwhile, there was something in the indictment about him showing another party a top secret map of, high security stuff. I mean, he's showing them to Kid Rock. I mean, it's mind blowing that people are going, I still want that guy as president.
Well,
I saw
the thing about it is yeah, you've got all the evidence. Yeah, you get the tapes. Yeah, you got all. I mean, you basically got a locked up, sealed case, perfect winner. But I know they used to say this about Gotti, but he is the real Teflon Don. How many times have we seen everything slide right off him, like it never even
how
happened?
many pending charges he got right now that we can't get him on? Like, ugh.
Listen, I don't disagree with that. And that's why, but
no, it's all right. With the Georgia thing, he's on tape, basically committing election fraud.
well,
and
he's on
felonies,
tape with this too. I mean,
and he's still going to get out of it.
yeah.
He's
Well,
still going to get.
What kind of sick reality is this? Like, what the fuck? What in the entire fuck that this nigga can be on video recording? We all know it's him, and people still. You got Teddy Riley from the '80s going on there talking about you innocent, man. What?
Yeah, right,
You
yeah.
think he's innocent? But someone
Nobody
brought
really
up a good
believes that.
point. If you like, it's like those people from the '80s. Like they all look at him as like he is some type of god, and he will always be some type. He's the rich man, the poor man's rich man, and they look at him like
Bingo.
Well, somebody I can't remember, as a comedian described Donald Trump as what a homeless man imagines a rich man is.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Meanwhile, a rich man's more like Jeff Bezos. I mean, like this close to a Bond villain, not this fumbling oaf that's just kind of falling
Right,
ass
daddy's
backwards.
money. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Falling ass backwards into opportunities. I mean, the man bankrupted a casino. I didn't even think you could do that.
It's possible.
I mean, the Seminoles started with nothing, and now they got
Right.
casinos all over the country.
And you heard the story about Fred Trump coming into the casino and cashing or
Mhm.
buying $10 million worth of chips, walking over to a table, putting it on the table and walking away. That way he could give his son a $10 million loan to keep it afloat without having
Yep.
to repay it.
Yep. The man's
Yeah.
slippery. That's how he keeps getting away with everything, because he's slippery.
Wow. Well, United seems to be slippery lately. United Airlines. They are coming under fire right now because Marlon Wayans, the comedian, is accusing them of racism and classism after he was pulled off of a flight over baggage, and he missed a show. So he's like, I saw his TikToks and he said he's gonna try to sue them and get all his money back from his show, which I think he should if if everything happened. I don't know.
I felt like this was going to be our most contentious conversation on this, because this could have gone either way. Okay.
I know that I saw the initial video of, like he said he was going to post it, but I didn't see the video of him interacting with the flight attendant. So I can't.
Well, obviously there's people on both sides of this debate over like who acted, but is it an American versus United? Is it Delta versus Southwest? I mean, what are we talking about here? As far as the controversy.
It's United Airlines. And what happened is they were saying that he had one.
No, that was a joke that totally fell flat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to like make a controversial joke about airlines, and it just didn't work at all. Terry knew it didn't work because he put his head down and scoffed. It's fine. It didn't work. Listen, they're not all gems. I'm a little out of practice. Right?
He's been off stage for 2 years.
I've been off stage for a while.
That's all right. That part is good. I know that.
So I'm gonna say this. So he tried to get on the plane initially with 3 carry-on bags, and they stopped.
Really?
That was the initial. They were like, "You need to combine that," and he said, "I combined it," and then they started giving me, "You got to check that bag or whatever." This day and age, especially somebody who flies a lot, knows you're not bringing 3 carry-on, but you know what I mean. You're already.
I'm like, where do they do that at?
Well, they don't. Right. That's my point. So he's already. He already knows he's kind of in the wrong, and is trying to kind of game the system a little bit, and then it just kind of goes from there. So, whatever. I mean, should they have taken it as far as they did? Maybe not, but does he know that he was kind of fucking off a little bit? Sure.
It definitely wasn't racial, because
I don't think
it should have resulted in him missing his flight.
Let me give. Well, if you cause a big enough stir over anything,
right,
they have the absolute power to deny you service. In fact, you can be arrested for it.
And that's the first thing they do. That's the first tool that they grab in the bag. Is like you're popping off, you're off the flight. Like there's no like, we're going to give you a warning, you need to calm down. It's like, you're doing this now, you're off.
Well, it's mainly because they're like, we're not going to get in a pressurized tube and go up in the air with you in this mood with this going on. That's not how we're going to start this.
So what if?
But hang on. Let me give my opinion first. Because yes, as John knows, anybody that flies a lot knows you get 1 carry-on bag and 1 personal item. That's it. That's the rule. However, I do also feel like Marlon is definitely like a platinum member of their miles program, and he was flying in first class, which they always feel more entitled in first class because they paid the extra money for the ticket. And not to mention he's a celebrity, so people know who he is. And, it would be so easy.
So he thought he could get away with it.
Kind of. And then somebody called him on it, and he got a little uppity, he got a little bit up on a pedestal and been like, do you know who I am? You know what I mean? Which could have very
you saw the video, or are you?
No. I'm just saying that could have happened just as easily as some asshole gate check attendant, wanting to have some power over somebody. Yeah.
Why can't you believe his account of the story?
I said it's just as easy. It's just as easy for either one of those things to happen.
I don't know. I feel like when it comes to, I need to know more about this to determine if I feel like racism even occurred, but I'm like reluctant to do that when it comes to other Black people. Because
why would you pick a celebrity in first class? Because I believe the classism thing more than anything else, because the people in first class definitely have an arrogance about it, because they're basically getting told I'm better than the rest of these cattle behind me. However, I also believe that gate check attendants or flight attendants could look at people in first class and go, oh, you rich piece of shit. You know what I mean? And they could hold them to a higher standard. But normally on an airplane, if you're in first class, you basically got the run of the place. Like, you can get drunk and they're not going to say anything. You can bang in the back.
What you gotta say, John?
I've been in first class. I've seen it.
Listen, I've been in first class too, but the majority of people that are in first class are business travelers, because they're doing it as upgrades for their miles. So these are professional people who are, not fucking off, and not, most of them aren't even drinking. They're working, or they're, but that being said, the issue with his bag. So he said, he said that he was trying to bring 1 more bag. And so he said, okay, and he combined the 2. And then they said, you have to check your bag because we don't have any more room on the flight. And that was that we don't have any more overhead, compartment space. So I don't know when he was getting on that flight, because it's a big, obviously if he was getting on first, of course there was room on the flight. You know what I mean? And this was all bullshit. If he was the last person aboard because he was running late or something like that, maybe there actually wasn't room on the, and United came out with their statement and said that, and they said, we asked one of our guests or whatever the hell they call him, to check his bag because there wasn't any more room to store, to stow his bag in the overhead compartment. So I think there's a lot of details that we need to work out as far as, if there's no room, there's no room.
Yeah.
Now,
not to mention there's weight and balance
if,
issues.
If 5 white people got on after him and they all got their suitcases on board, and you know what I mean?
I mean, that's kind of what
that would be obvious.
Let me get in here. That's kind of what he said on his TikToks, is that, or maybe it was on Instagrams, but he said that there were other white people that had 3 bags in first class, and they didn't say anything to them. And I'll say this, when it comes to flying as a woman, you can easily get away with the carry-on, like a suitcase carry-on, and then you can have a purse. And then
you're allowed that.
And then I'll have even like a crossbody, or I'll have like a backpack and I'll have a crossbody purse. But all I have to do is condense it. I could put my crossbody into my backpack. I can't.
But then it fits. But you're allowed to put things under the seats. But
they've never tried to make me like condense.
So I used to have sleep apnea. So I used to fly with a CPAP machine, to breathe while I sleep. And that does not count against your 2-bag limit to carry on, right? Because it's a medical device.
Yeah.
And I would get stopped every single time I flew. Every single time I tried to get on that plane, they were like, you can only have to, I said, oh, it's a CPAP machine. Oh, okay, come on, then come on board.
That's just because you're Jewish.
And maybe
that's what it was. I was wearing my big Jewish star across my chest, like Flavor Flav. And it had the hands, and it was like, yo, I'm like,
let me tell you something. You don't need it, bud.
And maybe that's what he saw other, flyers. That's what they had, was like their medical.
I wasn't making an excuse for that part, man. I'm just saying, like, they do stop people, regardless of color, that say, say, hey, you can't fly with this many bags. And I've flown in first class. I used to get upgraded all the time. So
let me put my closing argument on this, right? When you gate check, which is what that's called, it's doing a gate check. It's not like checking at the thing where they put it in the belly of the plane and all that. When you gate check, they go down and they put it in a special little place underneath the plane. And when you get off the plane, it's waiting right there for you.
It's on the jetway.
It's right there in the jetway for you to pick up. So there is no excuse, in my opinion, no reason whatsoever to make a big deal about that. I've had to do it because the plane was full. They've asked for people to volunteer. Yeah, and I've done that too. I don't care. Let me get my iPad out. I don't need my whole suitcase with me all the time. And it's right there when I get out. It's no big deal. There's no reason.
You fly from Charlotte to Atlanta, like you've got a connecting flight, that goes through Charlotte. And so you're on a little like commuter jet, and those commuter jets, the overhead compartments can't even fit regular carry-on bags. Like my carry-on suitcase, which fits in everything, won't fit in that because it's too small. Everyone has to gate check, everybody. So, and then it's all right there in the jetway. You just pick it up as you go, and when you leave, and that's it. It's really not that big of a deal, but
it's not a big enough inconvenience to make any kind of fuss over it. It just really isn't.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think he's in the wrong just because it's not a big deal.
I don't understand why you think he's in the wrong if he tried to condense it to make it work. I mean, I understand that like afterwards, like they wouldn't let him bring his bag on, and then they tried to, I guess, gate check it. It's how y'all are rational.
Because he thinks it's personal.
The problem here
isn't.
I see is like it's like y'all just like maybe
I want more information.
Experience.
I'm not saying one way or the other. I just want more info. I want more info.
I'm just saying there's no way that gate attendant was like, you know what, I'm going to get him back for white chicks. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't personal. These people don't care. You know what I mean? It's not their airline. Most of these people are making $15 an hour.
Maybe this person like is trans and hated his white chick's character. And
what is the odds of that? I mean, come on.
I don't know if you guys watched the show Atlanta, but there was a whole episode. So remember the episode where Ern gets like hassled at the airport when they're trying to fly with his family, and then he spends like the whole rest of the episode with him ruining that woman's life because he felt like he was wronged by her. You know, that's kind of like what this reminded me.
And I want to wrap this up with like the article that you sent me. It has 2 other Black comedians that have accused actually Atlanta airport, Clayton English and Eric Andre accused Atlanta airport of racial profiling. But this was Wayne's going from
in Atlanta. All right.
It's the South. Like
it's Atlanta.
I don't care. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I was just talking about this with the Black person yesterday about how Atlanta, like everyone is like all like you should go to Atlanta, but it's still really fucking racist there. So it's like, you know, I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't call it really fucking racist, like it's like rural Mississippi, but there's still racism still exists here. It's not, you know,
well, it's America. Racism exists
wasn't
everywhere.
Ahmaud Arbery shot just outside of Atlanta?
It was in Georgia. I don't know if it was outside.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, it wasn't just outside of Atlanta. I mean, it was like I'm trying to remember which town it was in, but it was an hour outside of Atlanta. You know what I mean? It was. Listen, you know, there's a saying here that you know, without Atlanta, you know, the state motto of Georgia is without Atlanta, we'd be Alabama, and it's the truth. You know,
it is
because Atlanta is this kind of metropolitan, cosmopolitan, you know, piece right in the middle of this, what was a very red state. And that's starting to change. And listen, we got 2 Democratic senators and we went for Joe Biden. So, you know, it's certainly starting to change, but there you go to parts of Atlanta, I mean, parts of Georgia, and it's like, whew,
I heard it's
old
like,
school.
And what's crazy about it is it's like, the further north in Georgia you go, the more racist I heard it gets.
I would. Yeah, I mean,
well, the Florida Georgia line's pretty. The Florida Georgia line's pretty.
There's a bunch of Black folks there.
You got Valdosta down there, which is a fairly, you know, I mean, because you go south from Atlanta and you hit like you've got Macon, which is a fairly, you know, liberal cosmopolitan town.
Yeah, I like Macon.
And then, you know, you got, you know, Warner Robins where the Air Force Base is, and then you got Valdosta. But you go north, that's Marjorie Taylor Greene country. I mean, that's, you know, she's the rep up there. I mean, it's, you know, let's Georges of the world.
Let's not forget that just about 40 minutes outside of Atlanta is the largest Confederate monument in the country. So
not even 40 minutes. I play golf over there. It's 25 without traffic.
Oh, what do they call the golf tournament?
I must have hit trap.
Georgia.
Augusta National?
Well, no,
the
Masters.
Oh, the Masters. Yeah. I don't think that's what it means. I think it means the Masters of golf, but
right.
No, but
all right, guys, it is time for us to get to know our guest, John Levine. Thank you for joining us again.
My pleasure.
We talked to you as a comedian. Today, we're going to talk to you a little bit as an actor. How long have you been acting, writing, and doing comedy?
So as an actor, let me start here. I started doing comedy in 2014. I had turned 40 in 2013 and kind of I was like, where's my life going at this point? I was like, I want to be a stand-up comedian, and started doing comedy. And then in 2014, I took Will Watkins' class at the old Improv at the Hard Rock, and became a stand-up comedian. And then about a year into that, I met another stand-up comedian who was doing some acting work. And I was like, well, you know, I want to get an agent. I want to do that. How do I do all that? And he laid it all out for me, and I did it, and got an agent down there, and got headshots and did all the things, and started doing some acting work.
Who was that? Was that Elgin David?
No, that was Connor. Do you remember Connor? I'm trying to remember his last name. I can't, but he had an agent who was doing commercials down there and stuff like that. And so I did. So I just kind of followed the instructions that he gave me. And now every day I wake up and I think to myself, Jackie Barron said it was too early that I get business cards. And that's what drives me every single day, is that.
Well, you know, now that you're saying that, I remember one time I told you I was going to arrange my own show, shoot my own special, and put it on YouTube for free. And you said, what? You said that's a terrible idea. You're going about this all wrong. And now every major comic on the scene does it now. And they're all making
And minor.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Whose fault is this? Me or the guy that listened to me? I'm just saying.
No, it's me. It's definitely me.
Right.
But
So I say this, I've been acting as an adult since about probably 2014, 15 in that neighborhood. So it's been.
So it's like kind of close to the same times. Like you started comedy, then you started acting.
Yeah, it was about a year later. Yeah, exactly.
he just really needed some attention.
Are you also a writer?
Always. I do, it's funny. I like to write some stuff. I wrote this little like kind of short film that we shot and put out there, and I got into a couple of little festivals that we did. And then during the pandemic, I kind of tried my hand at writing, and I wrote this kind of like 8 episodes of a TV series that I had an idea for. It's one of those things where if I really, I think, put a lot of time into it, I think I could do it. Hmm. But I don't put enough time into it, if that makes sense. I don't really give it the time that it needs. But I have done stuff, and I have, and actually, I think a lot of people work by writing their own things, and it's something I should certainly start. And I know enough talented people, this conversation included, that I'm surrounded by that. So I should take advantage of it, but I don't.
Do more writing. All right. What has been your favorite role as an actor that you've taken?
Ooh, that's a good question. My favorite role. Let me think. I gotta think about the roles that I've done. I mean, so I have a split answer for this. So there's favorite role from like being able to work on this set with different actors from that standpoint, or the actual role itself. So the actual role itself, there was an independent film that I did a few years ago where I got to play the patriarch of this crime family, and it was a role that I don't normally get cast for. I don't normally play like evil people. Mm-hmm. Because I don't really read as evil or an asshole or mean or anything like that, which much to the chagrin of all my friends, but so I kind of got to stretch and play this role and kind of get into it. And so that was a lot of fun. So that I would say that was probably my favorite role. I think the favorite role from just working on a project and I think it's either between Loki or Cobra Kai, I would think. Although, now let me say this. Well, I don't know if I can say this because I shot something last year that'll be out this year. And I got to work with one of my, like somebody that I grew up watching, and a very famous actor, you know exactly who he is, and played a fantastic role of an actual person who's still alive. I played them 20 years ago. So I got to play that role, and that'll be out this year. And
you can't tell it. I'm like, well,
I can't. Yeah, I can't.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, but no, it's not out yet, and it's part of the next season of a show that's been out for like 3 seasons. So it would give away some stuff. So I can't say what it is, but that was a real treat that I got to work with this person and to play this role, which was like really super cool. And so that'll be out. That'll be out sometime this year.
But correct me if I'm wrong, you did some scenes with Kelsey Grammer too, did you not?
I did. I shot that movie. There was a movie called Charming the Hearts of Men, which I got to work with Kelsey Grammer, who was great. He was a lot of fun to work with. And
Frasier himself.
What's that? He's Frasier himself.
Frasier,
yeah, exactly. So I've had the opportunity. I shot a movie that'll be out this year with Benicio del Toro. So I got to work with him, which was really awesome. Yeah, he was super awesome guy.
Crossing paths with the names like you grew up knowing. Like,
right, 100%. I mean, I just did 3 days on a film with Anne Hathaway. So wow. Yeah, so that'll be out. I don't know if it's coming out this year or early next year, but.
John's got some movies coming out. We'll find out towards the end what movies he can tell us about. But
yes.
So where have you traveled to?
I didn't hear. Good. Terry was like vomiting. What did you just say?
Where have you traveled to do movies?
It depends. So I've shot stuff So last year I was in New York and like Rochester. I flew up there to shoot some stuff. I flew to LA. I was shooting stuff on the Sony lot in LA, which was the old Columbia Pictures lot. A lot of stuff is shot here, but I've done stuff like the Florida lottery commercial with all the seagulls, which I'm sure you guys saw because they played it every 10 seconds. That was obviously shot in Florida. And but I just did a commercial in South Carolina. So there's all kinds of stuff. You know, I go anywhere. Like I'll you know, I'm in that, you know, kind of mode, and I have representation. I have a manager now, so I have an agent and a manager. Manager's based out in LA, so they're getting me a lot of stuff in that market as well. So, you know, I'm sort of wherever it needs to be, I'll be.
Yeah, the Sony lot's a big lot. I've been there a couple of times just doing tourist stuff, but I was impressed with how large of a compound it is.
And I'll say this, and I love Atlanta, and we've got all these great studios here, and you know,
Marvel's there now.
I mean, yeah, but you know, the Trillis Studios where all the Marvel stuff shoots. I mean, it's now going to be 28 sound stages, which is a huge lot. Tyler Perry, you know, who was 13 or 14 sound stages and a full replica of the White House on his lot. You know,
Wait,
I mean, there's
didn't they make like they did a parody in Atlanta, the show?
Yes. Kirkwood Chocolate, which was like my favorite. I saw that episode and then I immediately was Googling, does Donald Glover and Tyler Perry have a beef? Because I was like, he skewered him in that episode. And I've been looking ever since for a Kirkwood Chocolate Studios t-shirt because I totally want one. But there's something to be said. What I was saying is this, so all the studio lots here and stuff are very new. They're state of the art. They're, you know, but being in LA and being in Hollywood on the same studio lots that Clark Gable was on, you know what I mean? That Bing Crosby, there's something about that history, you know, like you said, Terry, you know, I'm walking around, there's a you know, somebody walking tourists around there, they're snapping pictures of the thing, and they're doing a Wheel of Fortune episode right there, and you know, all these, I mean, it's like what you see in the movies of like what Hollywood is like, and that was
like going to work,
right? And I'm in a golf cart with the, you know, the star of the show, and the other star of the show passes by and stops and start chit chatting, and blah, 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 then we drive off on our golf cart to go to our soundstage, and it was super neat. It was super neat. And I was like, had a great opportunity to do it.
Sounds like a lot of fun, but I want to know what challenges you find in acting.
It's very challenging. It's you know, you are taking a character that's just typed on a page and making that person real. And you don't know what the intention of the writer was. I mean, sometimes you talk to the writer and you find out, or you can, you know, but just taking, you know, you take a script, which has a character and it has a scene and it has a storyline and an arc. And you have to then say, well, who is this person? Why are, you know, everybody acts the way they do because of who they are as a person. Who they are as a person comes from how they grew up, all their experiences that brought them to that exact point at which they're acting that way. So as an actor, you can't just look at those words on a page and it says, I hate you. When you go, I hate you. That doesn't, you know, there's 5 million ways to say, I hate you. And they all mean something different. And how is that person saying it? And why is that person saying it? And, you know, all the things that make us as human beings. And it's such a psychological, and honestly, that's why I love it, is because you really get to delve into like the human psyche and try to understand why people act the way that they do. And I find myself, especially in new situations, like kind of taking a step back and looking at all the other people around and almost like cataloging how they're acting and why, and trying to figure out what's their motivation behind the way they feel right now or how they're I did it in the jury room today. I'm sitting in the jury room and there was certain people that were really speaking up and trying to make other people laugh. And then there was other people that were really being really quiet. And there was other people that were kind of angry that they were there. And I was like looking at each one going, that person is, you know, the person that wants to be noticed, but is. And that's, you know, and they finally have a captured audience. And this is the person that wants to be the leader. And this is the person that, you know, and as an actor, that's what you do. You just kind of take all that in and try and you know, put it, breathe life into it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Actually, a great example of that, to me at least, would be Vin Diesel as the Groot in the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Marvel series. just because he only gets those 3 lines to
Right.
say, but he's got to build a character around 3 lines.
Yeah.
Because
And
all he can
and no
say
one
is,
sitting in that audience doesn't know what Groot is feeling.
yeah.
Like, you know what he's feeling,
Yeah.
just by how.
Oh no, it totally translates.
Yeah.
And he was a fan favorite character. And from what I read, they recorded over 2,500 different ways of him saying, "I am Groot."
Yeah. It's not a
Now,
bad thing.
personally, I don't think they needed a big name actor for that role, but whatever.
Well, I'm sure just having that big name actor like got some people out to see the movie,
Sure.
There's been
Sure.
Yeah, tap into that Fast and Furious crowd.
So, John, tell us a little blurb about yourself. Like, where are you from? Do you have a day job or another job? Family?
Yeah, how much money do you make a year before taxes?
The home you're sitting in, how much is that worth right now?
And what's your social security? No, go ahead.
Sure. What's your mother's maiden name? So it's so I was born in New Jersey, and I lived there until I was about 7 years old, and then my family moved to Fort Lauderdale, and so I grew up in South Florida.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, listen, I hated it. I got out of the car in 1980, and I hated it. So it was not a big stretch to get me out of South Florida. That wasn't a hard thing. But no, I've always been more of a city, a city mouse than a country mouse. So that's what I like. And honestly, that's what I like about Atlanta. It's got a little bit of a mix of both. It's got a nice little city, and if I want to go play golf, I can go play golf. But so anyway, so that's sort of where I grew up and where I came from. I'm single. I've never been married. I don't have any kids. I don't want to have any kids. And just in case any of your fans out there are like, God, I'd love to have kids with this guy. Sorry, ladies, I'm sorry. I just, no. And, I do. And the other question was, do I have a day job? I do bartend a couple nights a week. I've got a job at a hotel here in Atlanta that was a new hotel 2 years ago when I started working there, and I've been with them ever since, and they're awesome. I love them, and I love the place, and they're so supportive of my acting work, and they're like, if you got to take a week off, go. And
that's what I was wondering. Do they allow you to it's you got to find a job that will allow you to be creative when you get the opportunity.
100%. And like I said, I opened the hotel. So even like the week before we were open, we were all there just training to open the hotel. My general manager, who's still there, came up to me and he's like, somebody told me that you're an actor. And I said, yeah. I said, it's kind of my career. And he said, like, what have you been in? And I was like, well, I was in Cobra Kai. And he's like, wait a minute, you were in Cobra Kai? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh my God, that's like my son's. He's like, I got a 7-year-old kid. He's like, that's just my son. He said, we must have watched that show 100 times over. He's just watched it. He's like, which? So I told him the character. He's like, he's gonna freak out. He's like, let's take a picture again. We took a picture in this net. So Brendan, his name is Brendan, and he loves me, and he's so supportive, as is everyone else. And they love the fact that I do that, and work there, and I love working there. It's a good job, and it's easy money. And bartending in and of itself is very performative. It's almost like you're on stage. So it kind of fits with my skill set. Because I'm making people laugh, I'm chatting people up, I'm doing little stupid shit just to get attention, and that's my life.
And you get to learn how to make good drinks.
And I get to make good drinks, which is not a bad skill to have.
All right, are you ready?
Definitely make you some friends.
The blame game.
Yeah, are you ready to play the blame game?
Ready as I've ever been.
All right. You do not want to have kids or get married. Who's to blame?
So I will correct that a little bit. I have nothing against getting married. Nothing against getting married. It's I've never been married, but I don't have anything against it. I just don't think it's not something I would rush into just to be married. So I will say that. But I certainly do not want to have children. And I am 100% to blame for that. I mean, my parents were together and very loving, and my mother passed years ago, but up until that point, so it's not like I have anything from my family that makes me not want to have a family. Mm-hmm. But I just, ever since I said to my mother in high school, I said, I don't want kids. And she's like, you'll meet the right girl. That'll change, this and that. And never did. Well,
that's part of the reason why I picked this particular blame for you, because you are such a family orientated guy. Like I see you with your, I see
Oh,
you
yeah.
with your family on socials all the time. You guys are always getting together, big group events, things
Yeah,
like
I see you
this.
hanging out with your nieces.
But you wouldn't want that for your future, which I just find that surprising.
You're 100% correct, and I love being around my nieces and nephews, and I love doing stuff with the family. But I think I love it so much because I can say, all right, that's enough for me, and I can go.
You have the freedom to leave.
That's right. I mean, I go over to some of my friends' houses and their kids are running around and they're screaming this, and I'm like, I can't. Like, if I can leave. They have to stay here and kind of just deal with this mess and this chaos, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm just not, selfishness, whatever the hell you want to call it. But I just, so I took care of that problem surgically a few years ago just to make sure that I was never going to do it. So
wow, nice.
yes.
That's commitment. That's going to be my next question.
I got my raw dogging license, as I like to say. So, what's up, ladies? But
gonorrhea is still around though. So
yeah, but it's a pill cleanup. It's fine. That's an easy one.
All right. So lastly, I want you to tell us what you can tell us that you have coming out.
Okay. So I did, like I said, I shot a movie with Anne Hathaway last year. It's called The Idea of You. It's based on a best-selling book. And so I don't know exactly, like I said, I don't know when that's going to be out, but we shot it around September, November last year. So it's possible it could be out this year.
Rom-com or?
It's a rom-com, and it's about a woman who just turns 40, played by Anne Hathaway. And she had children at a very young age, in like her early 20s. And she's now divorced. Her daughter is 16, and she has another child as well. And
you played a gay best friend.
Close. I played the husband of her best friend. Is who I play. So she the ex-husband is supposed to take the daughter to Coachella, the concert, and he has to back out at the last minute due to a scheduling conflict with work or whatever it is. So Hathaway's character, the mom, has to take, so she's at Coachella and she just walks around and bumps into like this, the lead singer of this boy band that her daughter was obsessed with when she was like in the 8th grade, who's now like 26. And of course it's like a meet cute and they fall in love, but it's this, kind of May, December romance. And, I can't be with you because, you're too young. And that, her trying to experience her life as it would have been if she didn't have children in her 20s, with this young man, and so that kind of thing. So it's
interesting.
Yeah, it's a great script. I mean, it's a really great script. So that'll be coming out. The thing that I really couldn't talk about, I don't know when it'll be out this year, but I really can't give anything away about that because it'll really ruin anything. But I did just shoot a new pilot for Hulu. There's a show in the UK called Peep Show, which ran for 9 seasons in the UK, and they are bringing it over here. They're rebooting it over here. Minnie Driver is the lead. And the interesting part about this show, they're changing the storyline. It's not going to be the same storyline that was in the UK, but what's interesting about the show is everything in the show is shot in the first person perspective. So there's never a time when there's like 2 characters talking and there's a camera off to the side looking at both. It's either the camera's one of the actors looking at the other one or the other one looking at the other one. It's never. So, it's like you're looking right into the camera and you're talking. Yeah. So this is the conversation that we're having right now.
I can't. My brain doesn't compute.
Right. Well, once you say, and you can go look up the UK version. The UK version's hilarious. Like I watched a bunch of the episodes of the UK, and it's like I said, 9 seasons, and it's funny as hell. But as an actor, you're always trying to ignore the camera. You're living in the world of the character, and you're trying to the camera doesn't exist. Well, you're talking directly to the camera. I mean, because the camera is the other actor. Yeah. And the actor that's playing the character that the camera is now representing is like ducked down behind the camera person, reading the lines, because they still have to do the lines.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird, and then you have to kind of like, there was one point where my character, who the camera woman was representing, I had to shake somebody's hand. So I had to kind of like reach in around her and put my hand into the frame and shake her hand, and shake the hand just to kind of make it work. So it was really interesting, and the script was so funny, and I think it's definitely going to get picked up. So and it was
You're saying Hulu. we can
And,
find
and
it
it's good. Well,
somewhere.
it's FX is the network technically, but it's going to be on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be so hopefully that, because that was kind of a major character. I would definitely see that character coming back in a bunch of episodes. So I'm hoping it does get picked up because that would be a nice little thing. And then I did a movie, a Netflix movie, like I said, with Benicio del Toro that should be out this year. That'll be on Netflix. So yeah,
Do you know the name of that?
It's well, the title of it when we were shooting was called Reptile. I don't know if that's going to be the same, if it was just the working title, or if they're going to change it, but it was Benicio del Toro, Justin Timberlake, and Alicia Silverstone.
Alicia Silverstone, I ain't seen her in anything in a minute.
Yeah, so it's
and old Justin Timberlake, he's my second cousin.
Is he really?
That's all right. Yeah, he doesn't pay me or anything. No.
Well,
I don't get checks.
He pays you to stay away and stop telling people that.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, guys, definitely check out John on the big screen. And then if they want to catch you on social media, what are your socials?
Just go to johnlevine.com. It's got all my socials, IMDb, and all that kind of stuff. They can check it out.
All right. And that brings us to Terry Wayne's words for white people. What you got this week, Terry?
Well, I was reading through a bunch of different articles this week trying to find some topics, and I noticed one overarching theme, and it's the same thing that's been going on for the last 10 years or so, and it's just anger. It's just anger, and it's mainly white anger as far as I can tell. Every group has their anger about certain issues, but man, that white anger is on the rise for the last decade or so, and that really becomes a problem because anger turns to hate just as quickly as grapes turn to wine. And you gotta fight past it, because you might as well, you're angry at illegal immigrants, or you're angry at the Jewish community, or the Black community, or the Hispanic community, or the latest one was the Asian community after COVID hit. And you got to remember, none of these groups are actually hurting you. You're hurting you. It's this unresolved anger that you're keeping inside. You're letting it grow. You're letting it fester. It's not good for you. Just because you hate one particular group doesn't mean that things are going to be okay with your dad now. You have to deal with your own anger and your own problems, because let me tell you something. You can march in the streets with torches all you want. Screaming Jews will not replace us. But guess what? They don't want to, for the most part. I've got a lot of Jewish friends. They don't want your life. Do you know why? Because you're so filled with anger and hate. Who wants to live like that? You wonder why you got digestive problems. You wonder why you got heartburn all the time. It's because you never relax, and you never let this anger from maybe your past or your childhood or your feelings of your lack of control, whatever it is, just get some therapy, man. If you've ever said, oh, those people, get some therapy, because it's not those people. It's you and all your repressed feelings. You need to find somebody, a trained professional, who you can talk to and get those feelings out, because they are killing you and rotting your soul out.
To that point, I used to think I was angry at all people from Boston, as it just turns out it was just Perry Sack.
Oh, okay. Well, that's totally fair. Yeah, that's totally.
Everybody's angry at him, frankly. So.
Yeah. It's totally normal with the sack man.
All right.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I think that when you got that much hate, it does affect your physical health. So
100%.
Anyway, yes, thank you for joining us. Guys, I don't have anything this week. I'll tell you what I got next week, or I'll tell you now. Fuck it. I'll tell you both weeks. I'm at Tavola's Pizza next Wednesday, and I'm co-hosting Dada on Tuesday next week. So
and as always, you can buy the book on Amazon. It's available now, hardback, paperback, and Kindle. It's Unclaimed Ashes.
And again, thank you, John, for being our guest. Just hang in there. But until next week, we'll be back, and we'll be doing some more blaming. See y'all next